Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert's Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. We are at week 16 of the NFL season. Week 15, I was 8-7 versus the spread. I was 10-5 overall wins. I was 10-5 versus the over/under. Week 16 starts out with the Thursday night 2-12 Tennessee Titans versus the 2-12 Jacksonville Jaguars. These two teams are in the contention for the worst record in the NFL. There's 4 teams currently at 2-12. The top 5, according to the mock draft I looked at, the top 5 college players in the draft for the 2015 season are Marcus Mariota, quarterback, Heisman Trophy winner from Oregon. The defensive end, Shane Ray from Missouri. Randy Gregory, defensive end, Nebraska. Leonard Williams, defensive tackle, USC. And then number 5 is quarterback, last year's Heisman Trophy winner, Jameis Winston, Florida State. With 4 teams at 2-12 and 2 teams at 3-11, there's a race to finish worst in the NFL. I got Jacksonville, who are favored by 3. I got them winning this, and I got them taking the under on the 40.5 points. We got the 9-5 Philadelphia Eagles, 1 game out of the division, 1 game out of the playoff hunt. Versus the 3-11 losers of 6 straight Washington Redskins. Philly's favored by 8.5. I got Philly to win, taking you over on the 15.5 points. San Diego Chargers at 8-6 versus the 7-7 San Francisco 49ers. This is the first time this year will be the first year under John Harbaugh that the 49ers have not made the playoffs. Chargers, I believe, are in a must-win situation at 3 teams in the AFC at 8-6. The 49ers are favored by 2.5. I'm taking the Chargers by 2.5. Taking the under on the 42 points. We have the 6-8 Minnesota Vikings versus the 7-7 Miami Dolphins. Miami at home is favored by 6.5. I'm actually taking Miami to win at home, and I'm taking the under on the 42.5 points. I think Minnesota next year will be great with Bridgewater and with him under a full off season, and then whatever running back they end up doing. Hopefully, Adrian Peterson moves on to another team, gets a fresh start, and is able to, redevelop his career. I will give the NFL props. I think they did the Peterson thing right. He was taken off the field as soon as he was charged, and then he got suspended after he pleaded guilty. He did not get credit for time started. I think that's the way it should be done. And going forward, I hope the NFL does it that way. Obviously, they fucked up with the Ray Rice thing, but they got it right with Peterson. We got the 10-4 NFC North leaders, Green Bay Packers, versus the 2-12 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Green Bay's favored by 10.5. With being tied for Detroit for the division lead in the NFC North. Right now, the Packers are in the last spot in the playoffs, and Detroit has the tiebreaker. I don't know if one of these teams doesn't win, whichever team does not win the division, I'm not so sure. Second place will make the playoffs, so I wouldn't count on that if I was either one of these teams, so it's a must-win. So Green Bay, I think it's a must-win. I got them winning by 10.5. I'll take the over on the 48.5 points. The 10-4 NFC North leading Detroit Lions versus the 5-9 Chicago Bears. Detroit is favored by 4.5. I got them winning. Like I said, it's a must-win. I think right now Chicago's just god-awful. What I would like to see is Cutler going on to Tampa Bay and having the Chicago just start over. They need to start over completely. Cutler goes to Tampa Bay, reunites with Lovie Smith. Maybe Lovie can get a little bit more out of him. We got the 5-9 Atlanta Falcons versus the 6-8 New Orleans Saints, the leaders of the NFC South. This is just a god-awful matchup. The fact the team that's going to be possibly 2 games under 500 winning the division, I think is horrible. The Saints are horrible at home. They're 3-4 this year at home. They did win week 1 versus Atlanta, but I think Atlanta's going to win this. It's going to tie it up. If Atlanta and New Orleans ends up tied for the division, the Falcons actually have the tiebreaker because they'll be 5-0 if they win this in the division. The Saints are favored by 6.5. I'm taking the Falcons by 6.5. We'll take the under on the 55.5 points. We have the AFC division champions, the 11-3 New England Patriots, 6th straight year winning the division. The record is 7 versus the hapless 3-11 New York Jets. Go figure. You know, if you ever watch Mike and Mike, Greeny is a big Jets fan. His whole life he's been a Jets fan, and he was mad they won. I mean, how bad is your team when your fans get mad that you win a game? The Patriots are favored by 10.5. The only thing they're playing for now is number one record, home field advantage, and first round bye. They're favored by 10.5. I got the Patriots winning this. I'm taking the over on the 47 points. 8-6 Kansas City Chiefs versus the 9-5 Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers are half a game out of the division lead, and the Chiefs still have a shot at winning the playoff spot. So whichever, for both teams, this is a must-win. I actually have the Chiefs winning this. I have them upsetting the Steelers at home. Steelers were favored by 3.5. I'll give that to the Chiefs. I'm taking the under on the 46.5 points. Set Johnny Football time in Cleveland. Johnny Football, Johnny Cleveland. What are we calling him these days? 0-1 as a NFL starter. That's what we're calling him. I got 7-7 Cleveland Browns and Johnny Football Mania versus the 5-8-1 Carolina Panthers, which, hell, 5-8-1 are only half a game out of the division lead. Carolina is favored by 4. I am taking Johnny Football to get his first NFL victory here. And you know what? Any quarterback can win an NFL game. Hell, Tim Tebow won a playoff game. So not that I'm comparing Manziel and Tebow, but right now Tebow's better. That's how bad Manziel looked. But I think Johnny Football will end up being better in the long run. Cleveland will win by 4. We got the 9-5 Baltimore Ravens, a half a game out of the division, versus the 7-7 Houston Texans. Even with J.J. Watt, Houston's not going anywhere this year. Maybe next year they'll get a quarterback, mid to late first round in the draft and do something. Baltimore winning by 6. I'm taking the over on the 44 points. We got the 5-9 New York Jets. The 5-9 New York Football Giants versus the 6-8 St. Louis Rams. If St. Louis gets another win, it'll be their 3rd straight season with at least 7 wins. St. Louis is favored by 5. What I'd like to see happen next year is Eli Manning leave New York, come to St. Louis, and then Sam Bradford get out of St. Louis and then maybe end up in New York. Chance for him to redeem himself, missing 2 years with 2 ACL injuries. Eli, 27 interceptions last year, like 15 or something this year. He needs a new start. I think he needs away from Tom Coughlin and away from New York. Why not St. Louis? It'll only be for 1 year in St. Louis because the Rams will end up in LA anyway. So, I got the Rams winning this. We have the 8-6 Buffalo Bills, the first time they've had 8 wins since 2004, versus the 2-12 Raiders. Which Raiders are we going to get? We're going to get the Raiders that beat the Chiefs on Thursday night, or we're going to get the Raiders that lost 52-0 versus the Rams. Yeah. Buffalo's favored by 5.5. I actually have the Bills winning this and getting their 9th win. And I'm taking the over on the 39.5 points. We have the 10-4 AFC South champions. The Indianapolis Colts clinched the division crown this past week versus the 10-4 NFC East leading Dallas Cowboys. Oh, yeah. Between the Cowboys and the Eagles, whoever loses the division will miss the playoffs. This is Dallas' first 10-win season since 2009. They're 7-0 on the road and 3-4 at home. They're favored by 3 at home. The Colts don't have a lot to play for. They got a shot at the first round bye and hosting, getting the playoff run through Indy. I don't know how sure that's going to happen. If they lose here, it probably won't. I actually have Dallas winning by 3 at home, taking the under on the 58 points. We have an NFC West matchup. We have the leader, 11-3, the Arizona Cardinals, hosting the 10-4 Seattle Seahawks. Seattle's only 1 game behind Arizona. Seattle's actually favored in this. Arizona's already clinched a playoff spot. They have a shot if they keep winning to get the number 1 overall top record and getting the first round bye and all that. I actually look at Seattle winning this, and Seattle actually ended up winning the NFC West, and then Arizona would be a playoff team. We have the 11-3 AFC West champions, Denver Broncos. Clinched the division last week, one of 3 teams in the AFC to do that. versus the 9-4-1 Cincinnati Bengals. Denver's favored by 3.5. Well, quandary here. Patriots and Broncos are tied for the best record. So obviously, they'll get the first round byes and they'll host playoff games. What if Patriots lose? What if the Colts lose? Broncos would have a half-game lead for the number 1 record. They'd be able to. All the playoff games would have to go through Denver if they win that, the number 1 seed. Who says that if the early, this is a Monday night game. We'll know the Patriots score. We'll know the Colts outcome. If both of those teams lose, we don't see Peyton Manning. I got the Bengals winning by 3.5. If one of those teams win and we see Peyton Manning, Broncos win by 3.5. Taking you over into 48 points regardless. So if Peyton plays, Broncos win. Peyton doesn't play, Bengals win. If Indianapolis loses, New England loses, there's no way in hell I would start Peyton Manning in this game. That will wrap up Week 16 in the NFL Picks and Preview. Stay tuned to Robert Sports Show for football NCAA videos along with wrestling. If there's any video you'd like to see me do, anything you want to hear my opinion on, please leave a comment. I want to thank all my subscribers. I want to give special thanks to B Daddy J for the new camera and for my Kansas City Royals shirt he got me, playoff shirt. As soon as I fit into it, I will wear it in the video for you, B Daddy J. So thanks you all for watching. Have a spiffy weekend. Enjoy the football.